Whatever the physical connection is established by using the interface is called X.21. The main job of data link layer is to reliable transfer of data frames. We are going to use two different techniques to deliver the packets to the end user. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session. I am Revati, Faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyashram, First Grade College, Mysore. We are on the 7th session of HDLC and switching technologies. In today's session, I am going to deal with X.25 packet switching network. Before going to start today's session, let me to recall the things what we discussed in my last session. In my last session, I discussed what is switching technology. Under switching technology, we discussed the three different types of switching technology. That is circuit switching, then we discussed packet switching, then we discussed message switching. But in today's session, I am going to discuss the protocol or standard for packet switched network, and the protocol here used is X.25. Moving further, let's see what is X.25 packet switching network. So it is a protocol suite, or it may be a standard used for providing packet switched network, and it is introduced by ITU Telecom. So it is a standard, or it is a protocol suite, and it is mainly used for packet switched network over the WAN, that is wide area network. So here the X.25 packet switched network allows remote devices to communicate each other by using digital link. That means by using X.25 packet switched network, it supports or it allows the user to communicate each other through remote device by using some digital links. So here the packet switching is a standard or protocol suite, and it allows the router to route individual packets of HDLC. That means high level data link control data between different destinations based on the addressing with each packet. That means in X.25, it is possible to route individual packets of type HDLC and to the different destination based on the address which is mentioned in their packet. So here X.25 allows the user to transfer the data from one destination to another destination based on the address mentioned in the packet. Here the X.25 network consists of network of interconnected nodes. That means here X.25 switch network consists of group of network, and they are interconnected each other by using user equipment. I repeat, here the X.25 network consists of network of interconnected nodes. Here interconnected nodes means nothing but your computer devices to which the user equipment can connect. So here the X.25 make use of two equipments, that is called DTE. So here DTE means data terminal equipment, and that is mainly used by the end user. So here I repeat, the end user of the network is known as data terminal equipment. That means the end user, the whatever the system comes in the end users, all are treated as data terminal equipment, and the carrier's equipment is data circuit terminating equipment, that is DCE. So here the carrier equipment is data circuit terminating equipment. So here X.25 make use of two types of equipments, that is data terminal equipment and data circuit terminating equipment. So consider this is DTE. Here DTE nothing but your end user devices. So here I have one DTE. So this is my network. So here I have DCE, and once again here I have DCE. Then this DTE connected to DTE. Here see the picture. Here the data terminal equipment is connected to data circuit terminating equipment. Here this DCE connected to DTE. So this is your X.25 packet switching network. So here the network routes the packet across the network by using DTE to DTE via the DCE. I repeat, here it is possible to route the packet through the network from one DTE to another DTE via the DCE. So here the protocol is known as X.25 was developed by the organization known as International Communication Union. That means here we know that it is a standard and it is a protocol suite, and it is developed by the ITU telecommunication. So here the ITU stands for International Telecommunication Union, and it includes the first three layers of OSI reference model. So here it includes the first three layers of OSI reference model. Then what are the first three layers of OSI reference model? That is physical layer, data link layer, and we have network layer. So here this X.25 includes three layers, and that includes the three layers of OSI reference model. Then what are the three layers of OSI reference model? It is going to include, here it is physical layer, then data link layer and network layer. So here this physical layer equal to this physical layer. Then the frame layer is equal to the data link layer of OSI reference model, and this packet layer is equal to the network layer of OSI model. So let's see the first layer of X.25. 5. So here the first layer is physical layer. So the physical layer is mainly used to establish the logical interface between two devices. So here physical layer is a basic layer and it is basically concerned with the electrical and signaling. That means it's mainly deal with the physical connection between the devices. So the physical layer interface of X.25 is also known as X.21. That means whatever the physical connection is established by using the interface is called X.21. So physical layer of X.25 is also called X.21 and it is derived from the RS232. So in my next session, I am going to deal with X.21 and RS232 interface. So this is mainly used for serial communication. I repeat, these two standards are mainly used for serial communication and this layer provides various communication lines that transmits or transfer some electrical signals and it is implemented by using linking. So here the physical layer is mainly used to provide the physical connection between the two different devices and here this physical layer is also called X.21 and this X.21 is derived from RS232 interface. So here the physical layer provides the physical interface between DTE and DCE. That means it provides the physical interface between the stations and the DCE. So here the DTE nothing but the station, whereas this DCE nothing but the switching terminologies like switch and router. So here station is nothing but the computer system or node. So here a physical layer is mainly used to provide the physical interface between the station and switching device. Moving further, we are going to get data link layer. So what is the job of the data link layer here? The main job of data link layer is to reliable transfer of data frames. I repeat, the main job of data link layer is the reliable transfer of data frames between the nodes. So here data link layer is also called frame layer. I repeat, the data link layer is also called frame layer. So here the layer is an implementation or development of OSI high level data link layer. That means the implementation of data link layer in X.25 is same as the data link layer of OSI reference model. So it supports the standard called ALPB. That means link access procedure balanced. I repeat. So here the implementation of OSI reference model is a standard and which is also known as link access procedure balanced, that is LAPB. Here the data link layer provides communication link and error-free transmission among the multiple devices. So the main responsibility of data link layer is to provide the communication link and transmission of error-free data between two physically connected nodes. So here link access procedure balanced allows the data terminal equipment or the data circuit terminating equipment simply to start or end their communication session and start data transfer. That means by using LAPB, the DTE and DCE can start their communication session or they can stop their communication session. At the same time, they can also start their data transmission. So here the data link layer is responsible for error-free communication between two nodes. That means the main responsibility of data link layer is to provide error-free data communication between two devices. Thus, errors are checked and corrected before each hop. So here each hop means hop is nothing but the network devices. So the errors are checked and the errors are corrected before each hop and they can across the network. So this series is also ensure a bit-oriented, error-free and sequenced and ordered delivery of data or frame. So here in data link layer, it supports bit-oriented transmission and it also provides error-free sequencing and ordered delivery of packet or frames. So the main aim of data link layer is to provide the reliable data transfer between two devices which is present in X.25 packet switching network. Then here we are going to get some of the protocols which is supported by the data link layer. In that first one, we are going to get, that is, link access procedure balanced. I repeat, it is link access procedure balanced. This is the first protocol, comes under data link layer and it is most commonly used to provide the logical connection between link access. Here it is specified by ITUT recommendation X, usually derived from HDLC. That means, so this is the protocol and which is specialized from ITUT recommendation of X, that is comes under HDLC. So it is most commonly used protocol that allows establishing logical connection. That means it is a protocol mainly used to establish logic connection between DTE and DCE. Then we are going to get another protocol called link access protocol. I repeat, the second type of protocol comes under data link layer of X.25 is the link access protocol. So this protocol is rarely used in X.25 and it is used for framing and transferring data packet across point-to-point links. That means the link access protocol is most rarely used protocol in X.25 and it is mainly used to transferring or framing data packets across the point-to-point link. So moving on to the next protocol, that is link access procedure D channel. So this D channel comes under ISDN. Then what is ISDN? That is Integrated Service Digital Network. Anyway, we are going to study ISDN in depth in our next unit. So here it is used to convey or transfer data over D channel. That means this protocol is mainly used to transfer the data over D channel, and link access procedure D channel enables and allows transmission of data among DTE through D channel. That means it is possible to transmit the data among the DTEs through D channel of ISDN. Then we are going to get another protocol called logical link control. So this is the fourth protocol of data link layer. It is mainly used to manage and ensure the integrity of transmission of data. That means the logic link control protocol is mainly used to ensure the integrity of transmission of data, and it allows transmission of X.25 data packets or frames through LAN channel. That means by using the logic link control, it is possible to transfer the packets or frames through LAN. Moving further, we are going to get the third layer of X.25 packet switching network. Here the third layer is packet layer. So this packet layer is also known as network layer. So the responsibility of packet layer is same as your network layer of OSI reference model. So it provides end-to-end communication among various DTE. So here the packet layer is also used to define how to address and deliver X.25 packet among the endpoints and the switches. So it is mainly used to define how to address the packet and how to deliver X.25 packets among the different end user. So here the end users are nothing but the end nodes. So here we are going to use two different techniques to deliver the packets to the end user. In that first one, it is permanent virtual circuit, and another one switched virtual circuit. That means in packet layer, it provides two different services, that is permanent virtual circuit and switched virtual circuit, to deliver the packet among the end user. So this layer also governs and manages setup and flow control among DTE devices. That means the packet layer governs and manages setups and flow control among the data equipment devices. Here the connection occur on logical channel of two types. That means in packet switching, the connections are established in two forms, that is permanent virtual circuit and switched virtual circuit. So let's see what is switched virtual circuit. That is also called SVCS. So here SVC are very much likely telephone cell. That means whatever the connections are established by using switched virtual circuit, the connections are similar to telephone cell. So a connection is established and data are transferred and then the connection is released. That means in switched virtual network, what's the first step? First establish the connection, then transfer the data. After transferring the data, the connection must be released. So here each data terminal equipment on the network is given a unique data equipment address. That means in switched virtual circuit, here we are going to assign unique identification number for each data equipment, that is data terminal equipment, which can be used like telephone number. I repeat, in switched virtual circuit, each DTE must assign with some unique number and that unique ID is considered as the telephone number. That means it is like telephone number. So the next type here is the permanent virtual circuit. In permanent virtual circuit, it is similar to leased line. I repeat, it is similar to leased line that the connection is permanent. That means the connection is always present. So here the name itself indicates that the communication line is permanent or it is always present. So the logic connection is established permanently by the packet switched network administration. So the packet switched administration is responsible for establishing logical connection permanently. So here the data may be sent without any call setup. The line, that means whatever the logical path we are going to use, that is permanent and it is always present. So no need of establishing call setup. So you can able to transfer the data to your end device. So here the packet layer is responsible for establishing connection, transferring data, then terminating the connection. It is also responsible for providing flow control and error control. So here the layer is responsible for providing some of the features like establishing a connection, then terminating data frames or packets. It is also responsible for ending or terminating the connection. It is also responsible for flow and error control, and it is also responsible for transmitting data packets over external virtual circuit. So these are some of the responsibilities of packet layer. Now let's see the X.25 interface. So the X.25 includes DTE and DCE. In that, this is user process. Then physical, this is link access or access link. Then here we have remote process, remote process that is access, link and physical. Then I have packet. So here also I have packet. So these are the interface present in your DTE and DCE. So then the connections are established. Here it is multiple connection. So here it is multi-channel logic interface, link access, procedural balance. Then here we have interface called X.21 interface. Then here we have basic virtual connection. So in physical layer, so what is the responsibility of the physical layer? Establish physical logical connection between two devices, that means two end nodes. It is DTE and DCE. So the physical standard here we used is X.21. So here we are going to get link access, and that is achieved by using link access procedure balanced. So here this link access procedure balance is used as logical interfacing between established logic access. Then we are going to get packets. So here we are going to have multiple channel logic interface. That means it is possible to communicate multiple devices, or it is possible to transmit multiple data at a time. And at the topmost we are going to get user process, and here we are going to get remote process. So user process is always comes under DTEs, whereas in DCE we are going to get remote process, and the virtual connections are established by using basic virtual connection. So here DTE nothing but a data terminal equipment, and here the multi-channel logic interface provides multiple virtual connection between your DTE and DCE. Moving further, we are going to get the use of X.25 packet switching network. So these X.25 packet switches are mainly used in ATMs and your credit card applications. So here X.25 is a mechanism for transferring transparent data. I repeat, it is a mechanism or protocol used to transfer the data in transparent manner. So one of the largest use of X.25 here is credit card readers. It is mainly used in the areas like credit card readers. So here standards exist for encapsulation of high level data like TCP/IP over X.25. That means it provides the standard. over TCP bar IP. Moving further, let's see the characteristics of X.25. So, it supports the packet size. The maximum packet size here is 64 bytes to 4096 bytes, with 128 byte being a default on most network. That means most of the network uses 128 byte packet size. So this is the default packet size. But actually, what is the packet size here? The maximum packet size is from 64 bytes to 4096 byte. So X.25 is optimized for the speed. That means what is the low speed it supports? That is 100 kilobytes per second. So the minimum data rate of X.25 here is 100 kilobytes per second. Suppose if you're having small packet size and small window size, then you're not going to utilize your bandwidth. So this X.25 provides high data rate. At the same time, it is also possible to send large amount of packet at a time. So here X.25 has been the basis of development of other packet switch protocols like TCP bar IP and ATM. So because of its nature, the X.25 is mainly used in ATMs and it's also used as credit card reader. So in my next session, I'm going to deal with X.21 and RS232C. Dear students, in today's session, we discussed X.25 packet switching network. At the same time, we discussed some of the layers of X.25 packet switching network. And we studied some of the uses and characteristics of X.25 packet switching network. Dear students, in today's class, you got more information about X.25 packet switching network, and from the examination point of view, this is the very important topic. So dear students, thank you for watching my session. Let's meet in the next session. Until then, take care. Thank you.